Hey everybody, it's Alpha Sway. This is my first recording, Space Engineers, but I figured this would be kind of worthy of being recorded. Um, Reason being is because this is a 100% offline star survival game um, where I live and where I work, and the line of work that I do allows me the opportunity to work from home. Home does not have regular broadband internet. We have Wi-Fi hotspots. So it's enough. It's enough internet. It's enough bandwidth for me to do what I need to do. But it's definitely not enough bandwidth for me to be able to stream or play these games with friends. So um, I've been able to take some time each evening for the past few weeks, just a little bit of time here and there to kind of put together a little cozy moon base. And I think that this is one of the things I'm about to actually continue working on is is just at its, I guess, its basic stages of being complete. But you can see it over there through the glass. That is going to be the beginning of um, my main landing pad in 3D printer. So I wanted something to kind of get the job done for me a little bit faster than me doing it by hand, and I came up with this. So all this basically is just a string of welders attached to a rotor, and it just spins and gets everything put together for me. Each one of these blocks is a heavy armor block. Reason being is because if I'm going to come in, I'm coming in hot. Um, I've got a large enough target that I can hit, land on, for one. But for two, if I'm being attacked, I would so much rather the enemy attack this than back here, where I've got all my resources, my assemblers, storage, some ice, and hydrogen, and that little guy. But without further ado, while this is working its way around the base, I figured that would be a good opportunity for me to give you the nickel tour. So I was just testing it to make sure that it did work. It does. So I'm going to slow it down. About half that speed. I think that should be fast enough. Right. Now what you see underneath it, those are light blocks. That was basically just enough for me to quarter this thing up. I'll fly around, get the heavy blocks in place, and then just put this rotor where it is. So this is the dead center of the landing pad. Let's get it started here. Get the welders going. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Okay, cool. It's a very basic ship. It is not pretty at all, but it did get me off the Earth to the moon. It's very simple in design. These were added later. This is basically an assembler underneath here. tucked away, and I mean really tucked away, inside and behind everything. I've got a little cryo chamber, right? Cryo chamber? Cryo chamber. If need be, I can get inside here and just enjoy the view. But there's my oxygen tanks, gyroscopes. So, really not that fancy. Got a couple of these medical rooms on the other side. Quite a few batteries. That guy right there, and a couple of jump drives. Because of how small it is, there's no ammo, there's no guns on this thing. It gets around pretty well. I've color-coded a lot of my stuff. So the red line is basically anything that is a finished product. Over here in the comments below, if you know how to do this. I don't. But I have two separate grids. So I started this grid here because this is where the platinum was located. And I don't think there's a whole lot left. But there might be some pieces right down here. Yeah, there's platinum. There's a little bit of platinum here. So there's a whole reason why I started at this location. Later on, once I built my rover, I then quickly discovered that I have iron, cobalt, nickel, silver and gold, and silicon and magnesium pretty close to each other. I mean, they're not right next to each other, but they're really not all that far apart. So I built this grid and the design's pretty simple. All it is just pistons, a few conveyor blocks, a single rotor, and a bunch more conveyor blocks here, and then drill heads. It all collects here, and from there it then goes to the refineries. And then from here, got all your refined products. And then if anything, built on demand, then makes its way down here, and eventually down here. But if you know how to connect two large grids, and I thought this was going to do it, this clearly does not do it. I know I've got nothing else connected here to run to this back end over here, but that's just because these didn't turn green, and I figured, well, I'm not going to waste the resources and running anything this direction or that direction if I can't get those to connect. So if you know how to connect them, that would be super awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. Probably one of the neatest things of the game here is this keen airlock. I'm outside. Obviously I'm getting hurt. But as soon as I pass through this little threshold here, it's pressurized. It's warm, high oxygen level. blue is primarily just for ice, but it also serves for oxygen and hydrogen to come through. I just made these little guys here, just to get a little bit extra oxygen. But you can see I ran it from over there. And mainly just because if I need to refill my hydrogen or oxygen tanks, just have that available. This was all by hand, nothing was hacked in, nothing was cheated in. This was not necessarily painstakingly designed, but I did want to make sure that I had a couple things in line. Number one, I wanted to make sure that I had at least one block above the majority of the ground, another block that I can run these. There we go. Get to see it from this perspective here. That's a lot of resources there. Those guys are hot. We'll just leave them be. But if you take a look at my concept designs here, these are by no means the perfect way of doing anything. It's literally just, after playing around with a couple different ideas, I thought, well, in a lower gravity situation, I won't have to deal with Clang as much. So I've kind of retrofitted these tools to kind of serve certain purposes. This one's kind of like a sweeper. It'll push out to about here with this second set of pistons. I've got these. If I draw these back in, I can draw those in as well, and I can actually bring this back past this point here, which is the whole reason for that design, so that way I can get down here to get that platinum. And all the refined materials come here. I just made this little spotlight just for that, because it is pretty dark on this side since I do have all those solar panels. But anyway, that's the nickel tour. Appreciate your time. Any recommendations, thoughts, ideas are always greatly welcomed. If you have other ways to improve upon what I have here so far, again, it would be great. I appreciate the feedback. Well, that's it. There you have it. One giant landing block. And now we'll begin the fun part of creating the printer. So until next time, see you guys later.